For the vocals, we took recording with two mics. I used the SE Electronics T2 and a Sennheiser MD421. In the end, I just went with the T2 because it brought out more of the raspy quality that I needed to emulate for Kurt Cobain's vocals. The vocals I then double tracked, as was done in the original recording. We then double tracked the backing vocals as well, just to bring out the whole sound. Who likes all our pretty songs, and he likes to sing along, and he likes to shoot his gun, but he don't know what he... With the backing vocals, I sourced them from a set of stems I'd found online. Listening to them, I'm sure that they're Dave Grohl's vocals, but when placed against the original track, they very quickly go out of time, so they've probably been manipulated in some way, but I had to slice them up and realign them every time they went out of time. The drums were actually sequenced using MIDI drums. I found a file online that got most of the drums down for me, but there was a lot of stuff that was wrong, so I had to go in and change bits, like in the verse with the open hi-hats, they weren't in there, and the bass drum and the snare for the chorus they was wrong. So I had to do a lot of editing there. They're obviously, because they're MIDI, they're all very rigid and on time, which drummers aren't, so I used the humanizer in Logic to adjust them very slightly, and then also went in and manually adjusted the volumes on some of the snare fills and stuff, just to make it seem a little bit more natural. I also had to beat map the entire session to the track, because obviously when Dave Grohl recorded the drums for the original track, he didn't play to a click, and so his timing goes out very subtly throughout the whole track. So I need to do that before I could do any MIDI drums to it. For the drums, I also used the multi-output selection to enable me to adjust make the snare a little bit brighter, and each of the tracks very individually, just to better emulate the original sound. With the bass, I wanted to try and emulate Chris Novoselic's chuggy playing style, which I play with bass with my fingers, but I tried to pick this time to try and get more of the aspect to it. And to record it, I used SF57 and C414, and then EQ'd the 414. So just focus on those picks, the kind of pick noises blended in with the SF57, create the overall sound. I also found out that my playing is very sloppy, and had to flex time most of the track, focusing on the bits that were obviously out and on like the first beat of the bar and everything, so they didn't sound too mechanical. I also recorded it with a distortion pedal, just very subtly on the track. I think maybe that was a bad idea, because I found afterwards I wanted to be less distortion. I obviously couldn't adjust it post recording it. The guitars I recorded with the same microphones, the SM57 right in on the speaker, with this 414 further back, to sort of get more of a roomy sound without sounding too distant. And then I did the same where I blended them in, but left a lot more top end for the C414, and then adjust the sounds accordingly. Also sent all of the guitars through an effects bus where I had reverb and a little bit of chorus, just to thicken up the sound. And again, I also double tracked the guitars, and then panned them left and right.